You are now listening to Awaken You with Shelly Bond. Welcome to my show where we explore ourselves. We talk about growth, healing, breath, life, yoga, failures and successes, intuition, inspiration, fears, manifestation, books, writing, motivation, food, parenting, inner child work, mindfulness. What are your thoughts? My love for healing with energy work, learning how to love myself, forgive myself, and know my own self-worth. I have a deep well inside to hold space and connect with women. And I have learned that awakening is for us all, especially for those of us who think that it's not. Waking up to our life's flaws and all is possible because, my friends, life is a practice. It's not a perfect. Welcome, my lovely friends, to a brand new episode. And I was inspired to chat about inspiration. What is inspiration and where does it come from? Right? Do you have those moments where you feel just like completely down and out? Or those ones where you're just like charged, supercharged with energy, like, oh my gosh, I have to do this thing now. Like right now, I'm feeling so inspired to be on this podcast. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm getting used to hearing myself on headphones and talking into a microphone. Testing 1, 2. These are new things, right? Inspiration, or sometimes I think it could be called ideas, right? Do you ever have those moments where an idea just like hits you and you either sit there thinking about it for a while and then all the other thoughts pour in and then you let it go? Or have you had the times where you jump on that idea and then continue to allow momentum to keep allowing you to take one step? Like I'm particularly, and I was on my recording, it was just 111, which is my sign that tells me I'm exactly where I need to be. But I'm talking about my book and recording and just all of these synchronistic things that keep happening in my life, where usually I would let an idea or inspiration come to me and then I would just like, meh. I was too overwhelmed, too stressed out, too busy with babies and diapers and toddlers. And now, I mean, I have my days where I get down in the dumps and things, but I am allowing this momentum to keep like hurtling me forward. I wrote a book. I wrote a freaking book, people. I wrote a book, which is this incredible, huge accomplishment. And now my job is working on marketing it and getting it into the right hands. But I'm also aligning my thoughts with how I think I want my book to be, not how my self doubt is telling me that I can't and I'm going to fail again and to give up. Because the self doubt is what stops our ideas and it stops our inspiration. So when we can learn to like take that self doubt, take that inner critic and hear it and notice it, but keep striving and keep doing the things to move forward. I know that for me and lots of people that journaling, writing lists is an incredible way of keeping yourself on task because inspiration can come to us. But if we're busy in the middle of work, in the middle of kids, or driving, that inspiration or idea will float away. But if you keep that idea, inspiration alive by writing down, like, oh my gosh, okay, this is my idea, this is my inspiration, and just go to town, write all of your biggest, craziest, most, use all of your imagination, use all of your creativity, dig deep into your dreams because I am such a dreamer and I always have been. And I was almost shamed for that. I think as a kid, I was shamed for that. Like, oh, you need to stop and grow up and get your head out of the clouds. I actually wrote a children's picture book called Robot Ryby. And I specifically remember this page that was like for me. And it was this robot, his name is Ryby, and he wants to be a superhero, but he's a robot. And the other robots don't like that because robots aren't superheroes. And these two like skeptic, mean bullies are like, Roy, get your head out of the clouds and back on this planet. And that was like my life was I was in the clouds and I couldn't be part of this planet. And it sounds funny and I laugh now, but really, that's how I have lived most of my life. And with the help of meditation and affirmations and changing my thought and so many things and yoga, and I use crystals now as like a grounding practice. So I wear malas, which is like this beautiful string of incredible jewelry, and all of the crystals like help ground me and bring me back down. And when I don't wear them, I'm like, woo, I am out on the clouds. And I almost need to like take a rope and pull me. Come on back down, Shelly. Get down. And it's just been like such an incredible journey, allowing myself to be this creative dreamer, to be this inspired person. Because all of like the real world things never worked for me. Like I was never really good at school. I struggled with school. I struggled with reading, writing, math, blah, all of the things. That was never my path. And it's like we're told as kids that we need to stay inside of this box and be inside of this box. And if you're not inside of this box, that you're a bad girl or a bad boy. And so I always did. I thought that. I thought it was bad. There's something wrong with me, which is so fucked up. It makes my heart so sad. And that's why, as a mom of three, I am raising my kids not completely opposite, because I want them to learn things like we do homeschool, and I want them to learn math, and I want them to learn how to read and learn how to write. But I also want them to learn how to be creative and to be creative, independent thinker. And being an independent thinker, it means that we don't always have to follow all of the rules. We don't have to fit in the box. Maybe there's a crack in the box and you can like shoot yourself out and allow yourself to be the creative, incredible person that you were meant to be. Because, right, like if we don't fit into this mold of life, then that's when we're feeling those feelings of failure. And know that, my friends, you are not a failure if you don't fit into the mold of society. You just haven't allowed yourself to tap into those inspired thoughts, into those ideas. And we have to think bigger. And no matter where we are, I was just listening to this really amazing YouTuber. He has like 1.2 million subscribers now. His name is Justin. And yes, we are creators. And I was watching one of his videos. And I've known this for a long time. And he talks about how our thoughts, our thoughts, like we just think that they're these things, but thoughts are our manifestation of our life. Our thoughts become true. Our thoughts are a reality. And think of your thought as I just did a podcast with my daughter, which was very sweet. You'll have to listen in. We had an incredible idea to write an Awaken You book for girls. Ah, right? And I'm encouraging her on the same thing. But I was talking about our thoughts are like these signals. I say this all the time. I always talk about thoughts. Thoughts are so important. And I was thinking of cell towers because they're everywhere. And radio towers are not really big things. I mean, they are, but not as much as cell towers. So think of your thoughts. And these thoughts that we're putting out, we're thinking even in our head, we're speaking, we're acting upon, we're grumpy, we're feeling overwhelmed, we're feeling frantic, stressed, angry, all of the things. They're shooting out back to that cell tower, and then it's hitting it, and then it's going to come back to us, and then it's going to grow, and it's going to multiply. So this is something you can always keep aware of, when you can be aware of how you're feeling is a direct manifestation of your thoughts. So if your thoughts are constantly, if you're constantly worried, if you're constantly in a fear state, if you're constantly frazzled and you can't catch your breath, like I go through these moments. Yes, just yesterday I was having a very anxious day because things weren't going my way. I'm definitely a control freak, and I'm still a person who can allow creativity and inspiration in. But as a woman, a wife, a mama, I have a control freak tendency. And my husband actually just like last week was like, "You are the most controlling mom I know." And I thought to myself, aren't most good moms controlling moms? Right? Our job as moms is to keep our children alive. We're here to help them thrive and grow and learn and be them best selves. They're not going to do that with a mom that just doesn't give a fuck. The control freak moms, though, me, and I'm sure if maybe you're a mom, you can resonate with this. Like when my husband said that, I'm not a very violent person, but I almost thought of like Homer Simpson strangling Bart. I wouldn't do it, okay? Didn't do it. Just thought of that. Like, don't fucking say that to me. Come on now. Like, yeah, I am. And I own that. And that's okay. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, even if you're on a spiritual path or wherever you are in your personal self help growth path, wherever you are in your life, we all have these weaknesses, these failures, these successes. We all have our shit, our weird stuff. And right, we have to learn what it is we can tolerate in ourselves and other people, just like our spouse. I've been with my husband forever and a day, like 19 years, and he does things that drive me fucking crazy and that I can't even stand. And I have to just learn in those moments I need to get away from him because I've learned that I can tolerate these things, but there's other things I can't tolerate at all, right? Notice that in your relationships. But kind of rounding back from like, we all have our struggles, and no matter where you are in your life, like how down in the dumps, how poor you are, how sick you are, how yucky you're feeling about yourself, how your self worth, if your body is out of your control, anything, your kids are out of your control, the whole world is out of control. You get to control what happens inside of you. I will say that again. You get to control what happens inside of you. No one else does. But the problem is that we're allowing our phones to take us over. And it happens to me too. I don't even realize it. I'll be posting on Instagram or Facebook, sharing to my community, or I'll have the intention to write and then blah, 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 the things pop up, which I've made a conscious effort to turn off notifications because those are just like sucking our willpower and our mind juices out. So just know when to be really intentional with your screen time and when you're on your phone. Because it's fine to get on there and connect and be with your community and your people. But when you're just sucked up in that rabbit hole, and I know my husband, it drives me fucking crazy. Like, scrolls through and reads every ad and watches every video and is doing all the things. And he loses his presence with us. Like, he's sucked into that world and he's at work all day. And when he comes home, his energy levels drained, right? Because the screen just like sucks it out of us, right? You go from like maybe excited and overwhelmed that you're in someone else's world. And that's why it's easier for a lot of us because our anxiety and our worry in those moments dissipates. But then what we don't realize is afterwards, our mind is like this recorder and it's recording all of these things and our thoughts, they're not even ours anymore is the thing. So taking control of what's going on inside of here in your head and your heart, right? When you take control of your head, you can more master this body instead of just like reaching for a pill, like an anti-anxiety, anti-depression pill. And I'm not saying that to stop your meds. Like if that is working for you, that's amazing. I just want to encourage you that feeling and being with ourselves is a natural part of life. Like my sister just had the craziest experience. Her son just started having a horrible asthma attack and I didn't know much about breath, but she has this pulse ox. You put it on your finger and my nephew is 14 and his pulse ox was dipping like down below into the high 80s. And for a healthy pulse like your oxygen levels is like 97, 98, like 96, 97, 98. Well, his was dipping down, and she ended up taking him to the emergency room. And then he had to get a freaking ambulance ride, and he just stayed 2 nights in the hospital. And the weirdest thing, the day after his first night stay in the hospital, my niece Mavie, the same thing happened. She was just breathing really like, And she was getting a lot of anxiety about her brother, a lot of anxiety about her mom not being home. And I was staying with them. I came down with my three kids and the dogs. And she was having a hard time with breathing. Her pulse ox was down too, because apparently there's some weird mold in the air. It was not COVID. It was not the flu. It was not that stuff. So people can't blame it on that. They were free of that. It was just some weird breathing thing. But when she was getting ready to go into the ambulance, she was having like an anxiety attack. And the doctors were saying, oh, well, we can give her Ativan or something like that. And my sister said, no, we're going to calm her down. And she was getting in her head and just, and her breath was really shallow and she was having a full blown asthma. She was already having an asthma attack and then anxiety followed because it's scary when you're in the doctors and there's somebody coming. And she had a ride in the ambulance too. And my sister got her to do EFT tapping, which is the emotional freedom technique. It's a technique that disrupts our fight or flight response. And you tap on energy meridians, and there's one on your wrist. You tap your wrists together. You tap on the top of your head, your eyebrows, top of your eyebrows, outside of the eyes, under the nose, under the lips, top of the collarbone point, rib cage, like rib cage. I think that's the last one. Monkey, yeah. And then back to the wrist. And she got her to calm down. And when you tap, you say, like, I'm safe. I can breathe. I am safe. I can breathe. It is safe to breathe. You're saying all of the things that you want to think, opposed to what you don't want to think. And my sister got her to completely calm down. And the EMT, is it the EMT? Yeah, the emergency ambulance driver was like watching everything. And he watched my sister telling Mavy, like, I'm so proud of you. You just calmed yourself down and notice how you're feeling. And he told my sister, that is incredible what you're teaching her and the way that you just got her to calm down, because so many people get so anxious and they just take the medications. And he said that every time he's with a patient in his ambulance that is having an anxiety or a panic attack, that he has them look at him and breathe. He says, breathe with me, in, out. And when you breathe, breath is also this segue to kind of cut those thoughts that we're thinking and to be where we actually are, because that anxiety and overwhelm, it's this overworking of thought, this, and our overactive thoughts and our fears are coming in, and then they pound down like hail on our emotional body, right? And then that's when we're like, we have that physical response where my little sweet niece was and her kids ended up staying, one son 2 nights and maybe one night. And she had they had all of these steroids and all of the things. And today, or yesterday, a miraculous recovery. My little niece and my nephew just like have switched it. And my sister has been really big into, we've been doing this manifesting, actually prosperity and miracles practice together. And she manifested a miracle, because miracles are available, like literally like that. You go from having a daughter with our pulse ox in 88, 89 to like coming back up to 97 without oxygen. Miracle. There are these things of the universe, right? Like inspiration. Ah, so many things. I love hearing stories like that and experiencing them firsthand, because it allows me to know that miracles do happen, right? And I think of like my little niece, and she was like taking on her brother's health stuff. She doesn't even have asthma as bad as her brother does. She has like a little touch of it, but she had full on like taken on and manifested it, and it was in her mind. And then my sister and I also was able to like calm down with her and help her create new thoughts about herself. Like instead of saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. If you're going to tell yourself that you can't do anything repetitively, what do you think's going to happen? You won't be able to do that no matter what. Even if you can do that thing really good and you convince yourself that you can't, you won't be able to. So it's so important for us to be open to creativity and inspiration, to have a positive mind and to recenter the way that we're thinking. And like this is something that I feel like nobody talks about. I know that like people like Louise Hay and self-help people talk about it, and like people I listen to, but it's not on like the mainstream media. You don't ever see like a headline, "Hey, notice the way you're thinking so you can change the way you're feeling. Change the way you're thinking about money and you can change your financial health." Where have we seen those? Maybe here on this show, on Awaken You with Shelly Bond, right? That's why I'm here. I'm so excited to just create this space of like awakening to different ways of doing and being, awakening our mind, awakening our body, awakening our spirit. Because we have been lied to. We have been told that we are limited, and we are not. It's a lie. It's a fucking lie. Like, we are unlimited beings. Yes, we are these people in these human bodies, but we are these spiritual beings. Like, we all have this soul. Like, coming to that inspiration, creativity, ideas, where do those come from? Like, how do you explain that other than it's a spiritual thing, that these things just come floating down at us? How many experiences have you happened where you couldn't really explain or even like justify in your logical mind why that happened or how it was possible? Because, right, of miracles, because we are these unlimited beings that have been limited by our thoughts. And when we can open up that we are expansive, that we can choose to create the reality that we want. We can choose to take our life by the reins. I actually, the book Awaken You that I wrote, I almost called it Get Boobsy and Take Back Your Thoughts, because men are always told to get ballsy. But I was thinking, no, get boobsy. Like, I don't know. It was funny. It didn't stick, so it's fine. But I'm thinking, we're going to get boobsy and we're going to take control of our thoughts. That's literally the book was called Get Boobsy and Take Back Your Thoughts. Who knows? It could come in the future. I feel so passionate and so like inspired to encourage you to take control of the thoughts that you are thinking, and even to just open up to the idea that you can be in charge of your thoughts. Because even if you are overwhelmed and feeling anxious, like I struggle with that still too. And I've had like a pretty steady practice for like 7 years, is that journaling, writing down the thoughts that you want to think is really powerful. And if you're having a really hard, struggling time, this practice is awesome. You can write all of the shit, all of the bullshit, with all of the cuss words and all of the yucky and all of your anger, all of the rage, all of the hate, all of the overwhelm. Just like write it. And even if it's like scribbling some and you can't read it, and then you can rip it out and go to a safe space if you have like an outdoor fire pit or a glass bowl and put a little bit of water in the bottom safely, like in your bathtub, where you can extinguish of the flames safely, because fires are serious. We want to keep safe, and light that shit on fire and watch it burn. And it's almost like this energetic, like, you can feel that shift and letting it go away. And then come back and write your life, not how it is, not how crappy you're feeling or how poor you are, all the things, not that stuff. Write your life, which I actually just did this practice because Justin from Your Creators inspired me. Write your life how you want it to be. Like, write your biggest and most wildest dreams. Write them. Just start writing. Like, write exactly how you want your house to be. And it doesn't have to be the house that you're in. This is tapping into your creative side and like digging into your imagination from when you were a little girl or a little boy. Like, being the most creative, like thinking the most outrageous, amazing things that you can think for yourself. So just picture the life that maybe when you were small that you always wanted it to be. What was it like? And maybe just think of in this moment, like, is it anything like that? for me, no. It was big and huge and grand. And then I grew up and I put all these limiting beliefs on myself. And I just like, it was almost like I had all these ropes just like pulling me down, saying, no, you can't do that. And that was me getting in my own way, my thoughts. But just write, like, write your house, write your dream home and describe it in detail. That's like where I started because I'm such a, like a cozy hunker down. I love my house. And so even like I love in my house and I thought this was my dream home. Sometimes my words are like not forming today. I thought this was my dream home, which it is right now, but I have bigger dreams. So I wrote out my dream home of like I live in a dream home with a giant stone entrance with a labyrinth and a circular outdoor fire pit. When you enter off the front is a double open wide two office space with views of the entire mountain range. And there's 5 acres on this land. This is my manifesting dream. Inside of the home is 6 bedrooms with 4 bathrooms. And I say this because I have 3 kids and I have family members who come in on the weekends and I want to have guest bedrooms for them, like their own little hotel where they can come up here and feel cozy and safe. And I'm imagining that. And a beautiful open and expansive kitchen with a glass stovetop and and 2 ovens. I want 2 ovens because we have so many people and so much food. And I want 2 ovens and a giant breakfast bar that seats 10 and a lovely open dining space that opens to the living room with vaulted ceilings and open windows that showcase the mountain range. So this was just like the start of mine. And then I wrote, I align with positive energy of money. And I help connect and heal through Awaken You malas and Awaken You podcast and YouTube. And I connect and I make malas and do energy work with 100 people per month. This is my goal. It's growing. I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming big. Maybe 1,000 people per month. And this is my big dream. This is the first time I've publicly said this. And it feels good. And I'm just going to say it. I like feel a little nervous, but those nervous times are the best ones. I have a healing and a retreat center where people come from all across the globe to escape and heal and love and connect. And then I also want to manifest a golden suburban. I'm picturing this beautiful, shiny golden suburban. Okay. I have so many things too. I am healthy, wealthy, and wise. I am filled with joy and I attract people to me. I smile because I love myself. I am rich, abundant, and prosperous in my life. And I have this whole section about my husband and connecting with him because we have been struggling, but we're working on healing our relationship. So I wrote, Rex and I are deeply in love. We are both fit and healthy and wealthy, and we live a life of financial freedom, support, communication, love, adventure. And we come together and we grow into our best selves. And then I wrote all of my like success affirmations. Like, I expect to succeed. I expect to flourish. Prosperity is my birthright. Money is my birthright. And my big manifesting has been money. Because think of if you're in a relationship, what is one of your biggest problems? One of the biggest fights, it's been proven through research, is money. Money is one of the hugest fights. And what I've been learning through manifesting and the laws of attraction is that we have been so trained and limited with our beliefs about money that money is bad. Like, money is the root of all evil. We need to pinch our pennies. But apparently, I become a southern accent when I say that. But all these horrible things. But what I'm teaching myself right now is to release and let go of those self limiting beliefs about money, or let go of those self limiting beliefs about yourself and about your body. Like, if your body has been a certain body type and maybe you've been overweight or held on to weight in your belly or your butt your whole life, that has been this subconscious programming that has been rooted and seated inside of you. But you can change that. You can change with self acceptance and love and forgiveness for yourself. You can allow yourself to let go of weight. I hear it when I'm making malas from women is, do you have malas for weight loss? And the root seeding thought of that is not worth, unworthy of love, unworthy of this. So we hold on to weight because weight is our way of protecting ourselves. It's our protection barrier. So know if you hold on to weight in your body, that's okay because your body is protecting you and it's doing its job. It's like that fight or flight response. It's like fight, protect. I'm protecting myself and it's holding on to that until you can mentally and emotionally allow yourself to get to a space of doing that inner work of self-worth and knowing that you are worthy, right? And this all of this practice with money, I had to get to the root of what I believed about money. And I've been listening to these affirmations and that like money is the root of all evil, which is funny because one of my new affirmation is money is the root of safety and security and happiness. Like money is the root. And it's funny, as soon as the guide on my affirmation said money is the root, my brain said that negative thing. And then now I'm replacing it. And I'm knowing that I am worthy. I am worthy of money. I am worthy of sharing my books. I am worthy of making these incredible mala pieces and doing energy work. I am worthy. And I had to find that inside myself. And when Jack, my little guy, which he'll be 8 in April, which is crazy, it's when my whole self help personal growth journey started 8 years ago, almost 8 years ago. And like unworth and not feeling worthy was at the root of who I believed that I was. It was always these, I don't deserve this, I'm not worthy of this. And in those days, we would go in the negative all of the time and struggle for money and be fighting about money, fighting about the house. I say we, my husband and I. Like we did not have a common ground. It was awful. And so, me on this huge kick of like manifesting money and changing the way I think about money, it's possible for anyone because I grew up very poor with food stamps. We were always on government assistance, hot lunch, the cheese on the pizza where you roll and like throw the balls. Me and my sisters got our clothes from churches. We would literally go get our school supply from churches and Walmart clearance rack. And now I live in an abundant, beautiful home. And but what I realize is that my manifesting, I feel like pushed it off on my husband, that he's the one worthy of making the money and not me. But girlfriend, I am changing that because I am worthy. So I am taking my own financial health into my hands. And I'm so grateful for my husband and I'm so grateful for all of the abundance and all of the wealth that I've ever brought into my life. And even if it's come from an outside source like my husband, because he is me, like his energy is aligned with mine. But now in my life, I'm 38. I'm getting ready to turn 39 in June, which is crazy to say. I'm almost 40. Not almost 40. I'm in my upper 30s. But I finally feel this calling of attracting prosperity, abundance, and money to me. And it's all starting with those deep seated programmings of worth. And about a month ago, I had this like shift. And it was through this process of I've been doing this meditation for, I'm now on, I think like day 35. So I do 30 minutes of prosperity manifestation. I just do it in bed. I pop in my earbuds and then I listen to bedtime prosperity affirmations all night because I'm reprogramming my mind. But what happened was I don't know, it was like this moment or maybe it's just been over time where I've just been feeling my worth and I've been feeling my value, which has been something I've never tapped into. Like I've never really felt that. I've heard about it. I've heard Louise Hay tell me about it. I've heard lots of people in like the self-help healing realm talk about that, but never really felt it for myself. And finally, after all of these years of work, after like realizing my thoughts, my self limiting beliefs, like I am worthy. I am worthy. And wherever you are, my friend, whoever you are on this planet, that you are worthy too. And you are worthy of realizing your worth. And you are worthy of writing this list of all of your dreams. I want to come back to that a little bit because manifesting it starts with like this openness to change the way that we think, right? And remembering back to like our thoughts are these things, they go out, it's like a vibration or a frequency. It goes out into the universe like those cell towers. You're sending a text, it's pew, and that's going to come back and grow to us. So allow yourself permission to grow and harvest and cultivate in yourself what you want. And if there's anything you're thinking or worrying about or doubting about, that change the way that you're thinking about those things. Like this is so true for my husband with my relationship. Yes, Shelly, my relationship with my husband. The words, there's so many coming. That I realized that every time I fell out of love with my husband, we've been together for 19 years. It's been a lot of times. And I don't think people ever admit that, but I'm saying it out loud. And like I'm mending and coming back together and working on. Like I've always loved my husband, but I have fallen out of love with him and I'm slowly like patching and I'm slowly remembering the things that I love about him because I've changed the way I think about him because I was thinking really horrible, shitty things about him. And anytime he would call my phone or come home, I would just like immediately all of the gross, mean thoughts about him would come up. And then I would treat him like shit. He would treat me like shit. And it was a shit ball. We turned into a pile of shit together. But we had this like incredible talk and I talked to him about all of the things that I need from him because I was feeling like he was putting his career in front of his family, which I understand, but we still need you. Like, we need you, and I need you. If I'm going to be in a relationship with you, I need you to be present and be a part of this. We had this huge talk, and we've literally just been like slowly rounding out and slowly shifting. And it's like actually happening because I changed the way that I think. I feel like this episode could go so long. I've been changing the way that I'm thinking about him, and our relationship is changing, and we're like mending and fixing things because there's these fixable things. And right, this whole manifesting money thing is a huge part of me and my inner work. And it's not saying that what my husband hasn't done or has done hasn't been good enough because it's been fucking amazing. And he has literally like lifted us up from the slums and his company is doing incredible. But I I want to have my own worth and I have my own dreams that come from me because before him it was me. Like I wasn't just always his wife. And there will be a day and he keeps saying it. I wish he didn't, but he like is like my life is halfway over. I I'm going to live into my hundreds. I just know it. I know me and my sisters are going to be like these 100-year-old ladies like fit and fiddle. I'm just imagining it. I'm seeing it. I'm putting it out in the universe. I'm extending the lifespan of people because you can. Ah, I'm so excited. But coming back to I like that creativity, that inspiration, and those ideas. That when we can be open to ideas, I feel like I've given you some great stories to reflect on, and maybe you can reflect in your life of like, has there ever been a time where you were just down in the dumps and feeling just horrible? And maybe you could remember back to, like, God, what was I thinking? Oh, it was really bad and toxic. Ugh. Or even just ask yourself, what do I think about myself? Is it good thoughts? Do you say kind things to yourself? Do you call yourself beautiful? Do you say, I'm so healthy? Or do you focus on, like, I'm so tired? I'm so fat. I'm feeling like my butt is jiggly. I know I have a sister who is so hard on herself and she is so aware of all of the things and she's on her spiritual path, but she is so awful to herself. And it makes me want to bawl and I also want to like flick her in the face and say, "Stop treating yourself like that." Because if she wouldn't or not that she would never treat me the way that she treats herself. So ask yourself, if you're treating yourself like shit, you're saying mean, ugly, fat, old, unhealthy comments about yourself. Notice that. Notice it first and then choose to realign. Choose to realign by writing down how you want your life to be. How do you want your thoughts to be? You want your thoughts to be positive? Then write, I am a positive person. I protect my energy from negative people. I am healthy. I am strong. I am fit. I go through this and I've literally written this for years. I love my eyes. I love my beautiful nose. I love my lips. I love my teeth. I love my ears. I love my chin, my hair, my boobs, my neck. I go through my whole body. I love my biceps, my triceps. I love my healthy wrists and hands. I love I always say, my strong, fit stomach, because my stomach has always been something that has been this shame part of me. There's just deep seated childhood shame of feelings of unworth of my body. And mine is my stomach. And I'm embracing my boobs. I have smaller boobs, which it's so funny because I was actually just talking to my daughter about this. My boobs were huge when I was nursing. Like, I look like I had porn star giant fake boobies. And I always thought that I wanted fake breasts. Just thought I did because I wear like an A. And excuse me, through all of this, like my self help journey, I've realized that I am accepting and loving my body the way that it is. And I'm not saying if you've had plastic surgery or had to have any body augmentation that is great if that works for you. But for me, I finally got into this space where I'm loving and approving and accepting of this beautiful body that I was blessed with. And I am accepting of it. I am accepting of it. So accepting is such a hard and powerful practice that I learned from Louise Hay, that we can accept ourselves, or when we can accept ourselves is when we can start moving on, like moving on to like a better life, a better way of thinking, right? And if you're having a hard time of where you are in your body, look in your eyes. Look in your eyes in the mirror and look for the reflection of light, because the reflection of light is like your soul. It's your soul, it's your spirit, and it's filled with love, it's filled with joy, and it's filled with light. It's like it's right there. And knowing that you can change the way that you think about yourself. You can change your life by changing the way you're thinking about anything. You can change your relationships by changing the way that you think about your relationships. And obviously, if you're in a toxic relationship where it's mentally, emotionally, or physically abusive, those are relationships that are not worth saving and that you need to seek help from a friend or a family or somebody who can help you get out of that. But if it's a relationship where it's just kind of gone south and toxic and yucky, try to change the way that you're thinking about that person. Change the way that you're thinking about your relationship. Maybe you could imagine your relationship as you want it to be, like those fairy tale relationships that are all unrealistic. Maybe watching those can help us have a bigger, more expansive imagination to imagine ourselves happy. And when we can imagine ourselves like being this certain way, imagining ourselves living in our dream home, having our dream job, our dream relationships, like our life is like this circle, right? And it's not complete if like say there's a multimillionaire who's like a single old spinster or an old widow lady and she has nobody to share her money with. She is going to be unhappy and unfulfilled. But think of like your life as this circle, and we want to balance all of it. We want to balance our personal life, our personal health. That's the most important, taking care of you. And then our family life, and then our money life, our money health, and then our career, and then maybe like our outside community. Like think of it as this whole circle. And at first, I remember when I first heard of that, I felt so overwhelmed and perplexed at the same time. Like, I don't even know if that's possible. But you just have to start where you are. So, where you are is with you. And your work starts here, home, in your heart. I'm pointing to my chest if you're listening. Your inner work starts with you, right? In your heart and your head. And today you can start shifting if you open up to your thoughts, if you become aware, when you become aware, and if you can start a daily practice. A daily practice, I recommend in the morning, like write it in the morning and then read it in the evening, because how we start our day sets up our entire day, right? When you roll out of bed all cranky and late, You just feel like shit all day. But if you wake up early and got your workout in, did your yoga, shaked your booty. I know I've been hula hooping off and on. When I do that, I feel like amazing. In the morning, all of my kids are awakened, awakened with me, woken up with me. Ugh, it just is gross. Right? So we all have those days. We have to start where we are. And when no matter if we wake up cranky, we step in dog poop. I literally stepped in dog poop 2 nights ago when I was putting my kids to bed at my sister's house. I was watching her kids and my kids and dogs and just dog poop. But instead of letting that ruin my night, I got a little angry, washed my foot, had to clean the carpet. I always end my night with a gratitude practice. And knowing that these ideas, that this inspiration comes to us, right? And coming back to this grateful heart is the way to just like expand it, right? I was talking about that we are these unlimited beings. Being unlimited is like a part of being unlimited is being grateful. So it's just tapping into, you can just say this like a mantra. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. This literally runs through my mind constantly because over the years, I've gone through many times where I just gratitude. I did a 40 days of writing 40 things, people, experiences, emotions that I was grateful for. And it's tedious and I'd miss a day and I'd mess up and then I'd be like, I have nothing I'm grateful for. I'd be like, I'm grateful for grass. I'm grateful for grasshoppers. I'm grateful for the sun, the flower. Like there's unlimited things. And even if your list is the same, we're programming our mind. We're reprogramming our mind. We're letting go of all of our self limiting beliefs and all of the bullshit. And we're moving through that and we're reprogramming our minds to be grateful. And we're filling our minds to live our life the way that we want to and not the way that we were told to, because this is your life and you are unlimited and you can tap into ideas, you can tap into inspiration around you, right? There's so many, I feel like, right? It's a practice, it's not a perfect. And you have to start today where you are, here and now. Like, no matter if you're living in your parents' basement or you're renting out a bedroom and you hate your roommates and your house is a fucking mess, you can do something for yourself today. And you can start that journaling. Like, write your life how you want it to be. Exactly. Write out all the things. Write out all the things. And then write what you're grateful for. Write what you're grateful for. And maybe then, so I wrote my list or my big thing, and then write a list, like a visualization list, my dream life. This is just like we're playing around, we're getting a little loose, we're feeling good, we're letting all the stress go, and we're just imagining our life how we want it to be. So, like, put your top goals, your top visualizations. Like, maybe make up a list of like 5 to 10 things. 10 might sound like a lot. I am a big dreamer and a big visualizer, so I always have a lot. But if you could start with 5, like think of your dream home, think of your dream career, think of your dream relationships, think of your financial health, think of manifesting and attracting money and becoming a money magnet. Think of letting go of a poverty mindset and adopting a prosperity mindset, because our money health is so important. And just because you want to have more money doesn't make you a bad person. Money is not evil or rotten. Money is up here with like our water. We need money as much as we need water. If we don't have money, we can't have a house, we can't raise kids, we can't have a car, we can't go and do life. We have to change the way that we think about money by changing the thoughts that we think about money, by changing the thoughts that we think about ourselves. And right, we can write this list and make this a new practice of yours to look at this list every morning and just take like 5 minutes. Take a few deep breaths. Inhale, exhale. Just calm yourself down. Let yourself sink in. You could do it first thing in the morning in your bed. And then look at your list. Okay, read thing one and then close your eyes and visualize and imagine. Imagine your dream home. Imagine your dream career. Imagine you in loving, joyful relationships. Imagine your bank account full and prosperous. Imagine yourself paying all of your bills with a smile and still having an abundance of money left over to live your life to the fullest. Imagine yourself in perfect health. Imagine your body strong and fit. Imagine you coming up with all of these ideas and being a people person, being somebody that attracts people into your life for your highest good. So many things. I love you, my friends. And I always feel like it's a lot, but that's how I work. I'm like, pack it, get that pack for the punch. Is that the right way to say? But I'm so grateful. And I'm so grateful for this. I'm rebranding my YouTube channel. So, for all of my YouTube people, I'm grateful for you. Please subscribe, thumbs up, head over to iTunes and leave Awaken You with Shelly Bond a 5-star rating and a review, please. It means the universe to me. I'm so just beyond ecstatic because this was one of those inspired ideas that I've been thinking of and ruminating. And then I was just like, Shelly, do it. Do it. So I followed through with the idea and here it is, it's birthed and it's brought into life. I'm so grateful for you, my friends. And remember that homework. I always give homework because, right, I don't know if I should call it homework. Maybe it's just like your self-care practice, like your time to grow you. Let's call it grow me time. Does that sound better? Maybe I'll rename it. Right, do your homework. Write what you're grateful for. Write out your dream life. How do you want it to be? Write it out, then write those goals, visualize, right? Being aware of our thoughts. And these are things like throughout the day where you can allow yourself to become mindful of your thoughts, mindful of your life, mindful of all of the things. All of the things. I love you, and I will be back here hanging out with you next week. Goodbye, my friends.